Hey, welcome to the Dripping Stone Podcast, the podcast where two friends raise a glass and have a conversation. I'm Nick.
I'm Kyle.
Kyle.
Yes, sir.
Today's
the day.
Is a Wednesday.
Yeah.
We're together again with all of our friends.
Yep.
I just made that sounds like a song lyric.
Pretty sure it's Kermit the Frog.
That sounds
The Muppets.
Yeah.
Together again. Gee, it's good to be together again.
That works. I like it.
Yep.
I mean, classic.
From Muppets,
Classic.
Muppets Take Manhattan.
It's classic.
I mean, if you want to quiz me on this, we'll go all the way.
All the way?
Yeah. All the way.
Well.
We're going to get Gonzo on this thing.
Not again.
That curly nose gets me every time.
All right, so today's Wednesday, which means together again with all of our friends.
Yep.
And I think it's about time we drank something.
Yeah, it's always a good time to drink something.
What do you want to drink this week?
I've got a bottle that I've been wanting to get on the podcast for a while.
Yeah?
That I think will match the theme of today's conversation kind of well. It's one of those
Occasionally we do that.
Yeah, every once in a while.
Yeah.
A little forethought put into it.
Oh,
Not much.
I was going to say, don't give it too much.
The briefest of thoughts. Just a thought, if you will.
That's a Patreon reference.
Yeah,
you got to get one in early.
Exactly. No, I picked out the Heaven's Door cask strength straight bourbon whiskey.
Isn't that the Colt from the 90s?
Heaven's Gate, I think it was. Yeah. Might be based like on a similar theme.
I don't think so.
Who knows?
So this is one of our first celebrity whiskeys.
Yeah.
I mean, have we done celebrity whiskey?
Yeah, because I know we've had this conversation.
Yeah, we have.
On the podcast. I remember hearing this conversation.
Wait, you listen to the podcast?
Yeah, all of them.
Okay.
Every second of them.
I mean, I do, only because I edit it.
Yeah, no. One of those views, that's mine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I'm really struggling at the moment to think of what it was. I know we did something. I mean, we've had The Rock. We've had like tequila.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
But it wasn't that episode. It was something more recent.
I know we talked about doing an episode of celebrity whiskeys.
Yeah, it was the Willet.
Oh, yeah.
Willet cask strength.
Yep.
That was it.
I don't remember the context, but that makes sense.
Well, we were just saying, like, that was our first celebrity whiskey. Obviously, not thinking about the fact that we had done the Rock's tequila.
Oh, not the Willet. No.
Not Willet.
The Metallica whiskey. Dang
Yeah,
it.
Blackened.
Yeah, there
I'm
it is.
thinking of the Blackened Willet. But yeah, no.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is totally not our first celebrity whiskey then.
Yeah, not even close.
Not even close.
Not even by like a year.
Anyway,
oh, man.
So this is Heaven's Door, and it's endorsed by, I really don't know how much he has a hand in it.
Agreed.
This is endorsed by Bob Dylan.
Bobby Dylan.
Yeah. So read me some bottle words. What we got here? What we got going on?
All right. Well, like I said, single barrel.
Oh.
Heaven's Door cask strength straight bourbon whiskey. We're going to be clocking in here at 61.2%, which is a solid 122.4.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they made a cask strength.
Going to wake up your palate.
Yeah.
It's got his little signature back there on the
really
back
cool.
side of the label. That's interesting. Distillers Series, our annual single barrel bourbon limited allocation, is comprised both of our own distilled barrels and sourced from partnering whiskey makers.
MGP, maybe.
Maybe. Doesn't say. It's actually looks like it's pulling more from Tennessee.
Oh.
It doesn't mention Indiana anywhere on here.
Interesting.
Does give the mash bill right here on it. 80% corn,
Okay.
10% rye, 10% malt.
Interesting.
Distilled in Tennessee, warehouse W6, Rick level B, cooperage, Kelvin, char, number 4. I think that's the alligator char. Toast, medium plus.
Oh.
Bottled by BR Distilling Company for Heaven's Door Spirits, Memphis, Tennessee.
Whoa. Say that name again.
Bottled by BR Distilling Company.
You know who BR Distilling Company is?
Oh, is that Blue Note?
That is Blue Note.
And our
Riverset
rum.
Absolutely.
Delicious.
Interesting.
All the way around.
That's interesting.
It is interesting, and from what I've had of this bottle, which you can see is maybe a fifth?
Quarter? Yeah, okay, fifth. Yeah, I could say
Fifth
that.
down.
And that's for everybody on YouTube and in our Patreons. You can
sure.
actually see that.
That's very telling now that I realize that, because I'm already noticing the similarities.
Well,
I didn't realize that because I didn't know
I didn't mean to divulge that to you. I'm
well,
sorry.
no, I think that's fantastic. Like it makes sense. I mean, we've had nothing bad to say about either of those things.
Are you prompting me into saying something? I mean, I can say a lot of bad things.
I mean, whenever you're ready.
how much time
You're more than
how much
welcome
time
to.
you got.
I'm
This would be
saying
a lot of editing.
I don't have anything bad
Oh
to
no,
say.
I wasn't saying about
them.
the liquid.
Oh.
I was just saying like in general. What bad things would you like to hear?
Oh. Fuck.
Gotta edit that
right,
out.
right to
Just
it.
right to it. I mean, there are worse. Maybe
I do cuss sometimes.
occasionally.
Occasionally.
All right, let's dump it. Let's dump it.
Let's dump it.
Let's
Dump right
let's
on
dump
in.
that bottle.
All right.
Let's get into it.
Do the thing.
Dare I say, should we knock on this door?
Knock, knock, knock on it.
Oh, that was a nice little pop.
Yeah. Uno for you.
Gracias, senor.
A due for me.
Ooh,
All right.
there's
In the glass.
there's some color here.
Well,
think,
you know,
anyway.
you would like to think cask strength. We're not weakening it down.
Very true.
So you would like to think it would add some color.
Did we have an age statement? I didn't hear an age statement.
I did not see an age statement.
Okay, I don't see one either. It's kind of well, I guess not because it says that they're comprising both their distillate and their sourcing, so
Right.
that does make some sense.
Definitely a blend, but still, you'd like to think. But I know Heaven's Door just put out a new bottle that is their 10-year.
Ooh, I wonder if that's sourced or if that's theirs too.
Interesting.
I mean,
don't know.
Heaven's Door has been around for a good little bit, so
Yeah,
it's
several
possible.
years.
Yeah, I agree though. Like it has some good color on it.
Yep. Not like I wouldn't necessarily call it dark.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like
Well,
right in the middle.
I think so too. Like I've been drinking a lot more Irish lately, and ain't no color on Irish whiskey. Well, most of them anyway. So to get a bourbon or go back to a bourbon, it's like, wow, this stuff is dark.
Wow.
Yeah.
So dark.
Even though it's kind of light caramel.
I think I put more in yours. Ain't
No,
no way.
you definitely did. I was trying to lay it on its side. It ain't gonna happen.
Anyway,
On the nose.
on the nose. Right on the nose.
Hello, proof.
Yeah, it's kicking.
Wow. And it's taken a couple whiffs here to kind of get past it, but once I get past it, there's some really nice potpourri, kind of
Yeah.
like just
Floral.
like floral.
Yep.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Quite delicate.
That's perfect. Like that's a perfect way to describe that. Floral, delicate, light, kind of fresh and airy.
Yeah, like there's not like a harshness on anything. Everything's just kind of soft
No.
and aromatic.
There's like the
Perfumic.
the caramel
My
note.
word.
The caramel vanilla note it's like a sweet caramel vanilla. It's like a really
Yeah. It's like an ice cream sundae.
yeah.
Vanilla ice cream, hot caramel.
Yeah, for sure. Or like like a store-bought sugar cookie with that like frosting that's just sweet as all hell. Whew.
Yeah.
Man, that's nice.
Yeah.
And for being cask strength, once you get past the proof, there's some really interesting things going on. You know what too? Like I'm getting just a little hint of the rye, I think. It's like just a hint of spiciness. I wouldn't go so far as to say like cinnamon, but there's like a spicy note,
Right.
like almost black pepper. Ooh, that is delightful.
Good nose. You get any fruit?
I was going to say apple.
I feel like I'm leaning cherry.
I
But,
could
like,
be convinced
not
of that.
Dark
I
cherry.
could be very easily convinced of that.
I could be swayed.
Yeah, peach, fine.
Yeah.
I'm for it.
Kumquat. Dang.
That's specific.
You nailed it.
There definitely is some fruit notes there. What did you say? Like fresh cherry? Not
Yeah,
like,
like
a dark,
a brighter cherry.
like maraschino?
No, I'm just thinking like the ones that like you see in the store. Like you got the ones that are just like super dark, super.
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like they're just darker cherry.
Yep.
Almost like the Luxardo, that deep dark cherry.
Sure.
This is more of just kind of that bright red
I get you.
cherry.
Yeah. Like I said, I can be convinced of that.
I don't know that I'd go maraschino because like that goes too sweet.
See, I'm getting like Granny Smith. Like not like a Red Delicious, but when I said apple, like a tart Granny Smith on the nose. It's not that like super sweet, but there's like a really bright kind of fresh fruit note and it just leans apple. Like that's a great nose.
Yeah.
All right. I'm ready. Going in.
To the tongue.
You got me. I'm glad I didn't take a sip. Because you did that to me last time.
Yeah, I know. I heard it in the bloopers and I couldn't remember what I did.
Oh man. So like I when I was editing last week's episode and like a lot of this was cut out, but there's a point in last week's episode where you said something and I had just taken a sip of one of the Leatherbacks beers and you about wore it. Like it was you were about to wear it.
Going in.
Wow. Not as proof forward as I expected it to be.
Yep.
Because the nose, like you just get a lot of ethanol to begin with.
Yep.
On the palate though, the proof is really subtle. Like
Right.
it's definitely there, but you're not hit with it right away.
Yeah, like that initial sip to me is just like all corn sweetness.
No joke. Like almost nothing else. Corn sweetness right away. But with that second sip, and as it hits the back of your palate, you get this like really warm, spicy note.
Yeah.
Ooh, there's the Kentucky Hug a little bit, but like black pepper or like Szechuan peppercorn, where it's like a little bit nummy.
Nummy.
Numbing. There we go.
I'm going more into like a almost like a habanero, kind of like spicy
legit spicy.
Pepper.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think that's just like the proof playing with whatever that thing is. That
spicy note really cuts through that sweet in the best way possible.
Third sip, I'm finally able to find the oak and the char, and that's delightful.
It really is.
Now it's like hitting like a balance point. Like first 2 sips were like 90% sweet, and the other 10% was just proof. And like now there's like this balancing act starting to happen of like the other flavors are starting to pop through.
Which I really appreciate because you've got something to think about here.
Yep.
It's not just here's all your notes, have fun. It's here's your note. Okay, wait a second. Oh, here's another one. Okay, wait a second. Here's another one. Not quite a roller coaster. More of like, I don't know, like different parts of a song. Yeah, Sunday Drive works.
You're just kind of winding down a road.
Exactly. Like, you know, here's this section of a song, here's this section of a song, or I like that analogy too.
Right.
Like easy going, but here's something else to look at. Oh, here's something else to look at. Okay. If I have a negative about this, it's that the bitter on the back end is flat. And what I mean by that, like it's got a bitter, and I normally don't mind that bitter, but it doesn't complement the sweet as well as I would hope for it to. Because like when I think about how sweet this is initially on the palate, it's the proof that cuts it, not the bitter. And that bitter is just kind of, it's not like a coffee bitter. It's more like a seltzer water bitter, if that makes sense. Like there's nothing interesting to me about it.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised because being that it's such high proof, I would think the finish is going to linger there far longer than it does. Other than that bitter. That bitter does linger.
To me, it's honestly not the bitter that stays with me. It's still just like the bitiness of the proof and whatever that peppery note is.
Is that a negative, positive?
Just a thing. I would say it's neutral.
It just is.
It's just what it is.
It's that really happy medium too in terms of viscosity. Like it's not super thin. It's not really, heavy and oily.
Right.
I think it's kind of right there in the middle, which that I do like, is that you're just given, here's some even notes or here's some even aspects in terms of the viscosity on it. So it's not super clingy in any way.
Right.
But it's also not, just drinking water.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to throw it up against the Blue Note now.
Yeah. I
didn't even know that.
Yeah, now that we say that. And they're not too terribly far off proof-wise. I mean, that Blue Note, the
Blue Note's got
the unfiltered, that uncut, 2 proof points higher, give or take?
Yep.
Maybe like one and a bit?
1.5.
Yeah, okay. That might be really interesting to do. Overall, solid.
Yeah, I would go like 7 out of 10.
I could say that.
It's not by any means like the best thing, but for a high proof, it's pretty freaking solid.
Yeah, I agree. Is it a whiskey that you would need to go buy another bottle of right now?
No.
No.
Very, very few bottles are like that for me.
That's very true.
Like that's a rare statement that I would say that as soon as I taste it, I'm like, yep,
I need another.
That's amazing.
Now.
Can't wait to finish this one and go get another one.
Right.
Yeah, I would say like, man, like out of all the bottles that I've got, that's maybe happened like 3, 4, 5 times. Like that's not a common characteristic.
But in terms of this particular bottle, it's quite good.
Yeah, definitely not disappointed in it.
No.
Definitely don't look at it as like I've had it, I don't ever need to have it again kind of scenario. It's more just like no, that was really good. I enjoyed that. So, but it's not like something I need to have on the shelf all the time.
Here's my thing with Heaven's Door. Like, I mean, you can find it just basically everywhere. Not necessarily the cask strength, but you can find regular Heaven's Door everywhere. And for whatever reason, I'm never drawn to it. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm never like, man, I wonder what that's like.
Right.
And I don't know why that is. I mean, that happens from time to time where, like, I see this bottle everywhere. Clearly, people are buying it. I don't know. All of that to say, this changes my mind.
Right.
When you get the cask strength expression, and I mean, this happens quite frequently to us.
Right.
You get a cask strength expression, you're like, oh, okay. There's something to
Yeah.
Which then actually makes me more interested for their regular expression.
Right. See, I go the other way. Of like, I've had your cask strength. How can I ever go back and just even try what your normal thing is? Because like it's just going to be like,
I got to. Sure.
Okay.
But that's also like, if you're going to compare the two, I mean,
Sure.
if you start with the 80, then you're like, oh, okay, there's some really good things here in this 80.
Right.
You bump up to the 120, you're like, oh, okay.
Right.
That's all the stuff I actually wanted.
Right.
So, I mean, all of that to say, like, that makes me want to seek out maybe the regular 80 version.
Sure.
I don't know if that's what their regular expression starts at.
Not sure.
Yeah. It could be 80, could be 92.
90. Who knows?
Yeah, somewhere around there. But.
Could be 92.38.
Wait, this isn't Whistle Pig. When you throw that weird
Just saying.
Dave Pickrell numbers, and you're like, I think that's a Dave Pickrell thing.
That's scientific, sir.
Yeah, it's super specific.
Went down to the thousandth.
That's a lot of math, Kyle. I don't know about all that. All right, now that we have a great drink,
Yeah.
what do you want to talk about this week?
I chose this bottle because of the name Heaven's Door.
Yeah.
Heavens, the heavens.
Okay.
Makes you think of, celestial bodies.
Sure.
And,
I'm glad we were on the same note there, the same wavelength. We both referred to
we
ourselves.
both just kind of caressed our bodies. No, you think about like space, the heavens.
Yeah.
And we both just watched a movie that just came to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Lightyear of the Buzz persuasion.
Yeah, I agree.
The buzzed Lightyear. We watched it.
We did. We didn't watch it together, but we watched it
but
separately.
We've got thoughts.
I do have one or two.
Yeah, same.
Maybe 3 or 4 if you're lucky.
I've got notes.
I've got notes.
I took a lot of notes.
Wow, that's like 2 pages.
I know.
That's kind of unlike you.
It's not like me, but it was late last night. I was getting this in because I hadn't seen it yet.
Oh.
I was like, we're talking about this tomorrow.
I thought
gotta
you had
watch
seen it. That's why I suggested it.
No, I mean, I don't mind doing that.
Gotcha.
Okay. I was just saying, like, it was late, and I was like, I better take notes because, honestly, like, right off the bat, I had questions. And I was like...
Movie starts, scroll, questions?
Not quite that fast, but like pretty damn quick. And I was just like, what?
Okay, let's get into it.
Yeah.
So here's my general take.
Okay.
I am for Pixar. Most things that
Sure.
Pixar does, I am all in.
Here for it.
Here's my thing with Toy Story.
Yep.
I think what Pixar has done with Toy Story is like they've given us these movies that people, at least maybe for me, I didn't need. Like, I feel like Toy Story 3, I didn't need it. Once I saw it, I was like, oh, this is great.
Okay.
Toy Story 4, I didn't feel like we needed it. Then we got it, and I'm like, this is great. And I felt similarly with this.
Okay.
In terms of like, I did not ask for this movie. I did not want this movie. This was never on like, man, I really need to know the background of Buzz Lightyear.
Right.
But now that we have it, now that I've seen it, I actually really enjoyed this.
Cool.
I'm not going to say it's my favorite Pixar movie. I don't think it cracks the top 5 of my favorite Pixar movies.
Right.
But I think this was quite an enjoyable movie, but it does have some issues.
I mean, it's phenomenally gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they do some, like, camera work in this movie that, like, provides you with, like, shots that are incredible.
Oh, yeah.
And the graphics, I mean, obviously, it's Pixar. They're top-notch. They're always, like, state-of-the-art. But, like, I mean, it's a gorgeous, just beautiful movie.
Well, I think that right there is what separates Pixar as an animation studio from almost every other animation studio, is that they're not doing animated films. They're doing cinemagraphically accurate films, or they're using regular cinematography shots with CGI and animation.
Right.
Versus like your kind of almost flat, 2D kind of normal, if you will, animation.
2D. Yeah, no, agreed. Like, but like there was a shot like towards the end of the movie where Buzz is in space and he's trying to catch up to his ship.
Yep.
And like the camera, the way it works around him,
moves
and then
around.
Like attaches, like it's almost like it's like I forget what, I don't know if it's a dolly or what, but it's like it's attached to him and rotates with him around the ship as he's like crawling around and doing stuff. That shot like blew me away.
Yeah.
I was just like, that's nuts. Like,
Yeah.
What a cool like shot that they thought of.
And it's all like, these are shots that would have been done in like big budget action movies.
Sure.
And you're doing it in an animated movie.
Right.
And that's,
and
that's
it's
cool.
like, that's really honestly like, I mean, obviously like nowadays you could CGI something into anything.
Sure.
But it's like, that's the kind of shot that was made for animation.
100%.
Where it's like, that's the best, version of that shot, because, you wouldn't, how you would even think to do that shot live action
Right.
is impossible. You'd have to do it CG anyway. So it's like it's that ability that the computer provides to
Right.
give you shots that are like
Yeah.
that. And it was nuts.
And I think in that respect too, what Pixar does very well is I can't think of any Pixar film that pushes the uncanny valley too far. And what I mean by that is like it's still animated versions of human characters. Like
Right.
no one really looks this way.
Right.
But that also like pushes that this is very clearly an animated film. This is very clearly, we're playing within these boundaries. We're not trying to make it hyper realistic, but also in that same vein, it is beautiful. Like Coco, it is beautiful.
Right.
It's not hyper realistic, but it's just enough realism where it's absolutely believable. You're in hook, line, and sinker in terms of visuals.
Right.
You're right. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
The shots of space, awesome.
Yeah.
The shots of this planet, which I forget the name of, beautiful.
Right.
They're awesome. That's exactly what you want in a space movie.
Right. Another thing that I really enjoyed about it was like I thought the references to Toy Story that they made were really well done.
Absolutely.
Like they did a really great job of like, especially like certain, bits of dialogue, certain camera shots, and like just kind of some of Buzz's, mannerisms.
Yep.
Were definitely, throwbacks to Toy Story and helped try to bring that into the movie.
Sure.
Tried to bring that in.
Yeah. No, I liked them.
Agree. I really liked the references. But at the same time, it was kind of like, I don't guess they
Too
were ever
ham-fisted?
Well, I don't think they were ever jarring.
Yeah.
Or like took you out of what's happening here. It was almost just kind of like, I don't know, like I had the weird like concept in my head constantly of like obviously relating this to the Buzz that we know, and I think that was the wrong thing to do.
That's perfect.
But I couldn't avoid it.
No. And I think that is exactly, you're 100% right. And I think that those people that watch this movie and don't like it, it's more along those lines of, well, I'm not getting Buzz Lightyear in terms of like what we know, 5 or 4 movies, Buzz Lightyear, the Tim Allen Buzz Lightyear.
Right.
And I get it. Like I get that perspective. And you're right. It's nearly impossible to separate yourself from that.
Right.
But to the credit of the director and the writers and the people who are working on this, I think it works because they tell you this is not the toy Buzz Lightyear.
Right.
Which almost adds to me more mythos to Toy Story Buzz Lightyear, because you get that like Tim Allen Buzz Lightyear finding more of who that toy character is, versus this is I don't want to say the real Buzz Lightyear, but this is a different version entirely.
Right.
The toy is based on this movie, so like there are going to be differences. And I think like it's almost the MCU kind of thing of like, yeah, that actually makes total sense. But that's the downfall too, is that you go in thinking that this is a toy Buzz Lightyear movie, and it's not. It's very clearly, like, it becomes very evident very quickly, it is not Toy Story.
Yeah, I definitely didn't go into it that way. Like, I understood the premise before watching it.
Sure.
But I had a lot of issues.
Okay. Well, before we get into issues, because I got some too.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about, you said that a positive was the Toy Story references.
Right.
I think a positive for me is the science fiction references. Like,
Sure.
they are everywhere.
Totally.
Like, if you are a space nerd like myself,
Yep.
and you've watched a bunch of space-based movies,
Right.
you're gonna love this in terms of like they're hitting all those sci-fi beats.
Right.
I mean, you see 2001: A Space Odyssey in this. You see Aliens, you see The Martian, you see Star Wars, you see Star Trek, you see all of these beats that I feel like if you didn't give me, I would have been upset by.
Right.
Because like you're not paying homage to all of those movies that came before this.
Right.
And that, I thought they nailed it 100%.
Yeah. And in terms of a sci-fi movie like this, this crosses every box that you got.
100% so. And I think like for me, that's very early on within the first like 10 minutes, I made that kind of almost conscious decision of, okay, this is not a Toy Story movie. This is a sci-fi movie that happens to have a Toy Story character in it.
Right.
And you're kind of explaining that. And once I almost remove myself, I'm not saying that I don't have issues, because I do, but it allowed me to give myself over to the narrative that we're being presented rather than like, wait, where's Tim Allen, Buzz Lightyear?
Yeah. I think it would have worked better overall if we were meeting a new recruit who was possibly inspired by Buzz Lightyear, or maybe we're going to meet Buzz Lightyear in the next movie or something like that. Like maybe this is the story of the person that taught Buzz Lightyear, kind of a thing. Like maybe we're meeting Obi-Wan Kenobi and we're going to get Luke Skywalker, we're going to get Buzz Lightyear in the next movie, kind of a thing. Like because I kept trying to connect, and because of all the references to Toy Story, I'm constantly thinking back to Toy Story. Like when I see him do that shot, I immediately think to Toy Story 2 where he did that shot. When they're in the cones, I'm immediately thinking Toy Story 2 when they're in the cones.
Right.
Like because I kept being jarred back to this story that does not relate to this, I found that very annoying.
Sure.
And I couldn't appreciate the sci-fi opera that I'm watching as much because I keep getting jarred back to this kid toy movie.
Yeah.
You know?
I do. I think for me, like the biggest problem, the first 2 acts of this movie, I think are brilliant. Like you have this like lovely, Buzz Lightyear is this hero who's screwed up. He messed something up. You could very easily say that wasn't his fault. And I think there's an argument for that, but he made a decision, screwed something up, crashed our ship, and now he's got to deal with the ramifications. You have this awesome kind of interstellar time dilation, 4-year time skip story going on. But what it misses, and I think maybe what you're talking about, is you don't really get character development in Buzz Lightyear. So you never really see like the culmination of this character.
Right.
And I don't know, maybe that's setting up for, Lightyear 2. I don't know. But you never really get a character that's separate from the Toy Story 1 initial character.
Right.
He's so much like, I'm Space Ranger and Emperor Zurg, that of course you're being constantly brought back to that.
Right.
And I think they miss it because you have such a chance to do that in the third act where like he actually learns something. And I'm not saying like the character doesn't fully learn things, but it never really is able to breathe in that way.
Right.
I agree. You're absolutely constantly being brought back to
the whole
Buzz
the
Lightyear.
first opening 2, 3, 5 minutes is literally like the recreation of Andy opening Buzz on his bed. Not opening, but, when Andy leaves the room, he's doing the whole, like, no sign of intelligent life.
Yeah.
Ground a bit unstable. Like, he's doing the exact thing. So you're immediately just...
what do they call it? Like narrating or whatever. Like, you're narrating.
Yeah, he's doing his, like, captain's log, star log.
Yeah.
Whatever he's doing. Like, and so that whole first 5 minutes is just, you remember Toy Story? We do too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, cool, but like I almost think it would have worked better if like we just didn't get all of that until later.
I don't
like,
disagree.
I get it's Buzz Lightyear. I know it's Buzz Lightyear. I know who Buzz Lightyear is. I don't need to be reminded this early that this is where all this came from.
But I think like that's the downside of dealing with a prequel and a prequel that's, almost 30 years old from the, removed from the first one, is that you're trying to hit those same beats, but you're also trying to bring it into a generation that's brand new. And ultimately, like, you're not going to land on everything in that case.
Right.
I understand the give me, like, Starlog or whatever he says and bring me into that. But then remove yourself from that relatively early. Or, like you said, bring it in later where, okay, it actually does make sense where those two things align.
Right.
And I don't think they fully do either. They don't fully, like, leave the... what you know of as Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story, the original Toy Story, and they don't fully go enough into this is a totally separate character,
right? Who
just happens, like that action figure happens to be, a representation of that character,
right?
There's weirdly like not enough removal, and then like no, I think that's it. There's just not enough removal.
Enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you could have went all out, but that, like, I don't know.
But then I think you alienate on both. Exactly, you alienate on both sides.
Yeah.
So in that respect, like, it's not a bad medium, but I don't think it lands completely.
Right.
But I'm also,
I totally agree.
I'm also not 11, so maybe it does land with that demographic in terms of like, oh yeah, that's Bud Lightyear. Like, I love it. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, we've lived with this character, like you're saying, and we understand him that way as this, like, bit of a pompous, all narcissistic character,
absolutely,
toy that has this, like, crazy complex that he's this very important thing, but you're a child's plaything.
Exactly.
So we understand him in that perspective. So to be constantly reminded of that, but trying to understand you as more of this like noble, never give up kind of a thing. Like it was just, I don't know. I found myself being jarred too often.
Yeah, I agree completely. And it's a bit off-putting when you're trying to think in that respect of like, you know, wait, which are you? Where do I stand in this?
Right.
100%.
Totally.
You got some notes there.
I got a lot of notes.
Yeah.
I mean, like this,
what else you got?
Like before I really dive deep, this movie has done like surprisingly poorly financially.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people did not go see it. I watched a couple of like videos about that of, you know, a lot of people are putting it on the fact that it was released, I think, same weekend as Jurassic World.
Right.
But then also it was the third week for Top Gun.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, Top Gun was still crushing.
Sure.
So it was just kind of a tough spot to open. But normally Pixar is kind of like, you know, who cares? We don't really care what we're opening against.
We're
going to take over.
Yeah.
This is Buzz Lightyear. We'll be all right.
See,
but
I think too, this is where you're going to start to see the issues with streaming is that like people know, hey, I've got a Disney Plus, and this was me, this was you.
Yeah, I didn't go see it.
Yeah, because I wanted to see it. Like Carol and I were like, let's go see Buzz Lightyear or let's go see Lightyear. And at some point we were like, yeah, but it's going to come out on Disney Plus, so why don't I just wait for that?
Right.
And of the people that I know that went and saw it in theaters, they had almost like obviously issues too, but they loved it in theaters.
Yeah, I'm sure it's gorgeous. I'm sure it's a cinematic type movie. Like you want to see it in the cinema.
So I think like that is kind of the downfall of a streaming kind of thing. Yeah, this is what you're going to have to deal with now.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't know. Like I really enjoyed the teaser trailer. Like that one really got me interested in it. But by the time, like, honestly, I'm not a cat person. And when I saw that, like, that's what you went for, like, his droid thing, like, and I actually end up liking the cat in the movie. Like, it's a fun character. But even after seeing it and knowing that I like the cat, I still see the cat, and I'm like, ew. Still. Like.
Listen, all of our cat listeners are like, and I'm out.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. But I just don't understand that.
Totally
like,
with you.
All the designs that you could have done of, like, a cool droid or something, it could have been the alien. You know, it could have been like the aliens that they do. Like, it could have been something else. And so, like, I don't know. Like, I remember seeing the cat in the trailer and just being like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
And I wasn't like, once I understood that it was going to be some sort of a time travel thing, honestly, too, that one I was kind of like,
see, that
I don't know about all that.
For me, that's where I was like, oh, it's going to be a time travel thing. Because I like that kind of, especially when you do it well, which I think this did. I think this did it well in terms of like this character is being thrust into the future in terms of time, but all of his friends are aging like normal and he's not. Like, I like that aspect. That's the interstellar perspective, which I like.
Well, and I'll be honest, like I don't mind the concept. I don't necessarily like the way they handled it though.
Right.
Correct me if I'm wrong. In Interstellar, the whole time dilation thing is due to the fact that the gravity of that planet is different and it affects you differently while you're on that planet. It had nothing to do with light speed and the fact that they were traveling faster or anything like that. It was because the gravity there compared to the gravity of that dude out in space.
Which is related to the time warping of light.
Sure.
Yeah.
But, you know, even for me, as somebody like, you know, I nerd out. Like, the concept that I get it, like, he's traveling really fast, but the fact that he's just going to, you know, even traveling at the speed of the light, it took him 4 minutes to get to that planet and back, which is closer than our sun.
Right.
'Cause I think it takes 8 minutes from the sun to the light to get to us. So it's that close, and you're traveling that fast, and you're telling me, even for me, it's hard to wrap my brain around it, that he's traveling so fast that somehow when I'm stationary on this planet, I'm going to age 4 years before he gets back.
Yeah.
But like, you know, it's just like that.
I see what you're saying.
That doesn't make sense, like, in my head.
Right.
I get it. I'm sure there's the science to prove it, but it's like he went so fast, bam, bam, that I aged 4 years. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. And I don't know how 11, 12-year-olds ever going to look at that and be like, oh, yeah. Maybe they just don't think about it.
I was going to say,
and they just accept
probably,
it as like, okay, every time he goes in the plane, it goes 4 years.
I think it's suspension of disbelief in that case.
Sure.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm just like, yeah, that just doesn't make sense. Like that's too much for me to wrap my head around, and it bothered me.
Right.
You know, he's going so fast around that planet. You know,
I think it, like I'm not trying to explain it because I don't know all the physics about it, but I think it has something to do with like he's going around that star, he's going around that planet's sun, and like while he's doing that, there's something with gravitational. I don't know. I'm making it up.
I know, but that's my point
Yeah.
of like you're trying to. And you even bring out the whiteboard to explain it to us that this is what's happening. But like, it's like, whoa. If that's what you're going to throw at me, like I can be explained way better by you just pushed a button and boom, 4 years went by.
Right.
Don't try to explain it because it's not making sense to me. And you're going to need to give me a little bit more of an explanation.
See, I was in the I was in the 11-year-old camp. I'm like that. Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Sounds
sure.
good.
Yeah, he's going so fast in 4 minutes that for me here it's 4 years. Like that. What?
Well, in that case, like if any listener is a physicist and they want to explain that, let us know.
I'll take that because that lecture anytime.
For sure.
Because I think that stuff's fascinating.
Right.
And so I was frustrated that like I'm sitting here like, oh, that don't make no sense.
Carry the 1, move the 6,
what?
like
to the power of who?
But
okay.
I think in that respect too, like the cool thing is that they're doing that in what is effectively a children's movie. Is that they're kind of introducing that idea,
deep, complex ideas. Yeah.
Sure, exactly. Back to the cat for a second.
Yep.
Traditionally, Pixar uses these other characters as
sidekicks.
Sure, as a source of humor. And I think Socks, who's the character, I think they do that well, but I wanted more. This is not, there's not enough, for me, there's not enough humor in this. There are some funny elements and funny moments.
Yeah, the coughing up the hairball, and then all of a sudden it was like a blowtorch. That was really funny.
That's funny.
I like
There's
that.
some really good, funny elements, but like they might have missed a mark here. Like you had a chance to, especially in juxtaposition to Buzz's straight-laced, Boy Scout mentality, you had such an easy way of making fun of that. To be fair, that might have even been more Toy Story-esque because that's what they do in the first Toy Story. But like, I feel like you just had an opportunity to do it, or you have an opportunity to push a little bit more humor because you had Taika Waititi as a character,
right?
Who there were some funny elements, but still, like, it's just a little flat in that way.
Yeah. You want me to go through my list?
Sure.
All right. Right off the bat. They're on this planet.
Yeah.
Wow. They accomplished a lot in 1 year.
This is what happens, Kyle, when you got a group of people working together for a common goal.
Damn, they did a lot in 1 year, man. Like, they turned that planet around, dude.
Right.
As, like, hostile as that planet is, y'all did the thing. Whew, good on you. 1 year.
Well,
really?
no politics there. They just did it. All right. What's your next one?
I hated how he could land and the next day take off again. Like, that shit takes time, dude. We live in Florida. We got the Space Coast right over here. We know that stuff doesn't happen like that.
Yeah, no way. And like you're thinking
frustrated me to no end.
On another planet and you're doing that? With
We've
some
only
fuel
been there for a year. Well, granted, at this point, they've been there for 5 years because you were gone for 4 minutes.
Fuel system that you have no idea this works?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, that was frustrating.
All right, next.
His reaction each time he lands, he's still surprised. And that bothered me. Of like, dude, you understand the consequences. Like, after at least the second time, you should know if you're going to get back in that ship, they're going to be older when you get back.
Right.
Stop being surprised when you get back.
You're older?
Yeah. Each time he gets back. Oh,
every
married
single time.
You've got gray hair.
It didn't work?
Yeah. Like, stop.
You would think that some mathematician on this space station would sit him down like, Buzz, listen.
Yeah, he shouldn't have. I think in that montage, each time he landed, it should have just been like, he goes straight to his cabin or whatever, goes to sleep, wakes up the next day, takes off again. Like, I'm not done with this until it's done. And he doesn't even notice that the world around him is changing.
Right.
I hated that he landed each time and was like shocked.
Yeah.
Like, bro.
Well, see, I
not gonna
wonder,
be different this time.
And that's a good point. But I wonder too if like he doesn't really notice it. We as the audience notice it. I mean, he does make reference to it. He is shocked, but like it's almost as if he is so singularly focused, which is that character. That like we are like, whoa, why aren't you noticing this more? Does that make sense?
I mean, I get what you're saying, but I still think it's like,
I'm not saying it's not frustrating.
You shouldn't be shocked, man.
Yeah. All right, next.
Already covered that one. Concept of time space travel, way too complex for an animated movie geared towards kids. I'm pretty sure at one point one of the characters says shit,
I think so too.
and I was like, "What? Did she just say shit?
I think
Or she say ship?"
I think she says ship because I paused it and went.
I already watched it 3 times. I'm like, "She says shit."
I looked at Carol and I was like, "Did she just say shit?" And Carol's like, "I think she said ship." I'm like, "I don't know," because shit
In
works
the way
here
that
too.
she's saying it
Yeah.
right there, it's like, "Oh shit."
Yeah.
Anyway,
Because I don't disagree with you, but I think it's
there's a point that Buzz has clearly made it clear that he's going to do this on his own,
right.
and within the moment of this scene, something happens, and he immediately is like, "Nope, I need your help."
Yeah.
And I didn't like that. Like the realization, it wasn't actually the final realization of him understanding how important it was for him to want help, but I didn't feel like it was earned.
Right.
It was way too quick of a switch for him to just be like, "You know what? I do need your help."
Yeah. And that's why I go back
like
to like that third act character development. It's just it falls flat.
Old Buzz reveal.
Okay.
That's probably my biggest gripe is that I'm honestly kind of okay with the concept. Shouldn't have been in this movie.
I agree.
Should have been in the next one.
I agree.
Zurg in this movie should just be an evil fucking robot. That's all he needs to be. He's just the bad guy.
I agree.
He doesn't need a backstory.
100%.
He doesn't need depth.
Yep.
Just like this movie is Lightyear.
Yeah.
Let Zurg be Zurg. Let Zurg be the Zurg that we knew from Toy Story.
Correct. Because then it's weird when you think about Toy Story.
Right.
Because then, like, if that's the case, why doesn't evil Buzz exist, but Zurg exists?
Well, that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Why didn't Andy have all the other toys or all the other Space Ranger toys?
Well, I don't.
Why didn't he have the little socks toy? If he loved this movie
Choking
so much,
hazard.
he should have had all of them.
Sure.
Because that's how you did it when you were a kid. You had all of that shit. But yeah, no, his reveal, I was bummed out by. But then his turn to being evil was way too fast also.
Agreed.
Like,
Agreed.
All of that stuff happened way too quick.
I mean, okay, when you had that reveal, I was like, okay, I'm still with you.
Yeah.
But then, like, it was like that older Buzz was on his side, and then you're right, like, very too quickly.
Right.
Now I'm against you.
And it's like,
okay.
I appreciate the concept of like fighting with yourself, especially from like different perspectives and times.
Sure.
Of like, yeah, no, if I had a conversation with myself from 20 years ago,
Right.
we'd go at it.
Right.
Like we would not, agree. And I get that, but at the same time, at your core, you're still the same person.
Right.
And the fact that like y'all couldn't find any commonality,
No middle ground.
like it was bizarre.
Yep.
Was like, come on.
Yep.
Like I can't believe that this is a core aspect of this character if when he's older he no longer has that aspect.
Yeah.
It was just like
self-preservation kicks in so much stronger than the Boy Scout kind of Space Ranger thing.
right.
All right. What else you got?
Big capital letters,
Yeah.
Ex Machina. Way too many damn Ex Machinas.
Absolutely.
Like the one that hurts
Problems
me,
just solved or plot lines erased because we just done. We said they
because we need Buzz to get saved right here.
Correct.
And somebody shows up and shoots a robot.
were. Right.
Or, Socks is about to float out into outer space. We've clearly set it up. She can't reach him. He's
Right.
going too fast. If you understand how gravity or the lack of gravity works in space,
Yeah.
she can't catch him,
He's gone.
but she caught him.
But she got him.
I'm really mad by that one. But yeah, no. Like I remember there was like one scene where it's like they're about to get Buzz and like the whole team shows up and they stop him and
Yeah.
many
Or the
times.
re-entry scene where like he's going into an atmosphere in his rocket ship thing.
Right.
That scene you were talking about earlier with a cool shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And somehow he's not burning up like the ship is burning up. Like,
Yeah, there's a little flames on
Yeah,
his
like-
wing, but
nah, that's not how that works. No.
the scene where the old lady has built a bomb and they're trying to get the big thing to drop on it.
Yeah.
And they just reach up and unscrew the bolts with their hand. Shut the fuck up. You ever tried to like unscrew a bolt? Like, especially something that's holding up something like that?
Yeah.
That's that heavy? You ain't unscrewing that shit with your hand. Come on. That is not happening. You're going to need a torque wrench like to get that shit off of there. Come on. I also wrote again that I don't like old Buzz as Zurg.
Yeah.
Like, should have been something different.
Yeah.
Lots of MacGuffins.
Lots of MacGuffins.
Oh, man, we need the fuel thing. And then there's the whole scene of, like, we got to get this coil from over here.
Yeah.
Like,
it just works out too perfectly.
Yeah, just too many MacGuffins, too many Ex Machinas for it to really be, like, feel like you achieved much.
Sure.
And then they waited far too long to show us the wings.
Oh, yeah.
And they used them not at all. Gave us one cool shot.
But I can't think that that's like the hello there in Obi-Wan. Like, that is your...
You're waiting for it.
Like,
but like when you're showing us so many times where those wings would have been useful.
Correct.
And you don't give it
And
to
you
us.
don't
And
give it
then
to us.
he's got it the whole time and
Yeah.
knows how to use it.
But when he does use it, it's like...
It was epic. Great
It's
shot.
great.
Slow motion.
Nailed it.
Opened up. Beautiful. They give you that shot of him, taking off like he did in Toy Story 2 again.
Yep.
Amazing.
Yep.
But I needed it 30 minutes ago because when he's in that like gravitationalist fight with Zurg,
Yeah.
could use
And
that shit real quick,
and it would have been helpful.
Tie that stuff up. Got the coil, busted Zurg in the
you
ass,
couldn't
been out of there.
then you couldn't make the movie last 30 minutes longer.
But it hurts me, man. It hurts my brain. He knew that he had that the whole time, and he opted not to use it.
Okay. Let me ask you this.
Yep.
Does it deserve a Lightyear 2?
Nope. I don't think so.
I agree completely.
I don't think so.
I agree.
Solely because you already did Old Man Buzz. Like,
Yep.
that could have been a cool thing.
Sure.
And I can't believe... Well, I mean, I can. Obviously, I can believe that they thought that, like, yep, this is going to be the thing, and,
Yeah.
and we're going to make a whole, series of these. But the fact that they did it so blatantly is kind of surprising.
I agree. I think, though, this is going to make a pretty good Disney Plus series. Like, you could very easily do that. I think it would make a decent Disney Plus series. Maybe even a pretty good one.
I don't know.
Your face says you disagree.
I think as beautiful and gorgeous as this movie is, would
Yeah.
you be okay with a Disney Plus series that they're going to have to drop the caliber of it?
Right. That's a good point.
And like that, to me, like that was the best thing about it.
Is that how beautiful it was?
It was how beautiful it was. Yeah. And so if you're going to drop that, and if it's not going to be a better story,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to have a hard sell on that.
Okay. Ultimately, I'm going to say I enjoyed this movie. I don't think it's perfect. There are a lot of problems, but I enjoyed it. I think that there's enough beats, there's enough references, there's enough allusions to other things. I enjoyed it. I found myself laughing through some things. I found myself, being like, what's going to happen next? But it's not without its issues. And overall, I enjoyed it. I'm glad I watched it. It wasn't a movie I thought I needed, but it was a movie that ultimately at the end of it, I was like, this was enjoyable. It was entertaining. I was entertained. I liked it.
Yeah. I would say, honestly, like, I enjoyed watching it.
Right.
It's a cool... I think anything that's like that, where it's like, here's a different take on a thing. I want to see that take.
Sure.
Just for me personally. This was not the take that I expected more out of it.
Right.
I expected a way more of just like an action-packed, like, space adventure. To me, this one was so much more not the Buzz that I expected to get. Again, I'm expecting to see Buzz flying around the whole time.
Right.
We get the wings and falling with style in the first 20 minutes of Toy Story.
Yeah.
Like, that's such an integral part. And again, you crushed it on the scene that you finally gave it to us, but man, I needed it so much quicker. And like, that was another thing. Like, his suit doesn't have the blaster.
Right.
He had to add that on. Like, that's such an integral part. And I see how, like, obviously I understand, like, by the time that it's done, you got to look at that last final suit as like, that's the suit of the toy.
Correct.
I get it. But again, it was just like, I don't know. Okay. And two, why did they eventually just give up on finding home?
I thought the same thing too. Like y'all
you
just stop.
totally didn't care anymore.
Yeah.
Which, granted, I guess by the time like you get to a third generation of people, this is now home.
Right.
But you would still think that like either home would have been searching for you and found you, or at some point in time you would have been like, you know what, maybe we should try to go find that planet that we came from. Nah, we're good.
Maybe that's
we got
2.
Laser Shield.
Lightyear 2 or Disney Plus series. We'll see.
Yeah. I can't think of a Pixar movie that's so heavily set up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing the sequel, baby.
Yeah.
Where you kind of jump the shark because like I think they'll really have to think about it.
Right.
Because,
we're doing a sequel, baby. I don't know if I need it.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I need it, but I don't know if like it's financially wise for you to
There's
do
that too. Yeah.
because this movie didn't make the money that you wanted, and most of your movies do. So maybe you should put that attention somewhere else where you're likely to make more money. Because coming off of this one, it's not like you could really expect a huge turn,
Right.
Because you're coming off the heels of a not as successful one.
Right. You got anything else?
You want to throw this right quick? Against the?
I do, but you know what we should do?
What should we do?
We should save that for our patrons on Patreon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Little pour with drip and stone.
Exactly. So we're going to actually, once we get off here, let's do that for our patrons on Patreon. What do you think?
I like it.
So we're going to put the Heaven's Door against the uncut Blue Note juke joint. What you think?
Boom.
Yeah.
Brilliant idea, sir.
Thank you. I have
like
one
that.
or two occasionally.
You used that one.
Yeah, thanks.
Cashed it in.
So you got anything else on Lightyear?
Nope.
You got anything else on Heaven's Door Cask Strength?
Nope.
Not me neither. So that means we want to know what you think about Lightyear. Did we miss something? Did we hit the nail on the head? Is this just an okay movie, or is this one of the best Pixar movies you've ever seen? We need to know.
Yeah, or is it the worst pile of dog crap you've ever seen? That's the range you have to work with.
The best or the worst? One of the two. There is no.
No, you covered the middle.
I did.
Is it okay?
Is it okay? Okay.
Is it an okay movie? Is
so
it
those
the
are
best
the three.
thing?
Those are the three.
Is it a
stages.
pile of dog crap? There you've got it.
Discuss. Go.
ABC.
Yeah.
Vote.
Okay.
Away.
I didn't know where you're going. And have you had the Heaven's Door Cask Strength straight bourbon whiskey?
Yeah.
I agree. What other
you get it off-
expressions?
I mean, this actually was a store pick.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you can get your hands on it,
Sure.
I recommend it.
Are there other expressions that we need to try that we haven't yet tried?
Yeah. I really want to try that 10-year. So
Yeah.
if I see a bottle of that.
Don't they have a
That-
rye? I feel like I've seen a rye.
There's like 3 that's in their standard bottles.
Okay.
There's 3 different Heaven's
Yeah.
Door. I think there is a rye. I think there's obviously the straight bourbon. I don't know what that third is. Maybe it's a high rye.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah. You can get in touch with us through email. That's drepandstone@gmail.com. You can also get in touch with us through social media.
It's always one word, Drip and Stone, DREP and Stone. Come find us, like us, laugh at some videos, think about some things.
Yeah.
We're here for all of it.
Absolutely. There's some really good things out there.
Yeah.
We're making a lot of content lately.
Yeah, we are.
Like
Hard push.
a lot of content.
Yeah.
Most of it, if not all of it, is on Patreon.
Yeah, it's all on Patreon.
Yeah, well, that's very true.
Every bit of it's
Yeah,
there.
it pretty much all comes out to Patreon before it goes out anywhere else.
Yeah, we kind of tease it other places.
If we do even put it out other places.
Yeah.
Like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But everything else is on Patreon.
Yeah.
And that's the best way to support the podcast.
Indeed.
That's patreon.com/drepandstone.
Yep. That is the correct address.
That is the correct address. Yeah. And there's a couple of different things there. Check it out. And we hope that you join the awesome community of people there at patreon.com/drepandstone.
Absolutely.
You can also support the podcast by rating Drep and Stone wherever it is you find great podcasts like this one. And finally, just tell someone about Drep and Stone.
Tell a friend.
Yeah, if you're going to see a movie in the movie theater,
It's a good place to do it.
Yeah, before the movie starts. Like, don't do it during the movie, because then people are going to get angry at you, and then you're going to associate Drep and Stone with anger, and you don't want to do this. This is a good time.
We don't want you to do that.
Exactly. So before the movie, though, during those the ads that no one's watching anyway, just like, hey, everybody heard about Drep and Stone?
Yep.
You haven't? Well, what are you waiting for?
Yeah. Then our ad will come up on the screen. Just our
Absolutely.
big logo.
Yeah.
Mugs.
Just our faces.
Be right up there. Boom.
Exactly.
Drip Soda. You're like, that's them.
And you hear that intro music.
Yeah.
And you're like, is it gonna be?
Are we just gonna watch Drip and Stone live?
I'd watch it.
I have watched it.
I'm living it. Yeah. Well, in that case, hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
May your glass overflow.
And your ass never show.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers, buddy. Are you about to do intro?
Yeah.
All right.
That's right. And there's a fresh one where that came.
There's another one where that came from. Do one for the camera.
You don't try that again?
Nah, it ain't gonna come out on the thing either. I don't trust it.
Ooh. Excuse me. Too much. I don't know how to drink whiskey right now. I don't know what's going on here. I'm like, That was rough. Oh,
What happened?
I don't know. I swallowed weird. It hit the back of my throat. And
I
just
tried to breathe at the same time.
on that same note, what do you think about Bob Dylan? Does he deserve the poet laureate position that he had? I'm going to take that out, but just throwing it
Hot
out.
take.
Yeah,
I
thanks.
have no idea.
Mayor Glass. Well, we're going to choose first for the thingy.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's very chimey, wind chimey.